What's going on, YouTube? JT is Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition of my DC comic book reviews. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about Harley Quinn issue number 6. Now, I made the promise to my subscribers that I would cover every single Fear State tie-in issue, and I am keeping my promise. I'm finally got the chance to catch up on all of this week's issues. Now I'm in the process of catching up on Harley Quinn, and then after this, I'm going to catch up on Catwoman. So today I went ahead and I read every single issue of Harley Quinn from the brand new 2021 run. So that was this, but the issues that tie into Fear State are issues 6, 7, 8, and 9. According to that checklist. So I'm going to be covering those issues. Issue 9 has not come out yet, so I'm going to review issues 6, 7, and 8. Then after this, I'm going to read the entire Catwoman run from 2018 onward, because that was a run where I read the first couple issues and then kind of just fell off and just lost interest in it. But now I'm actually going to go back and read every single issue of Catwoman, and then hopefully by this weekend or by Monday at the latest, I'll have videos on every Catwoman Fear State tie-in issue. I have those saved onto my Comixology app, ready to go, but I got to go back in and read the whole thing because I like to have a bit of setup before I get into the current things, so I can really feel more invested in terms of the story. Now, I've read every issue of Nightwing. So basically from Rebirth onward, I read every issue of Nightwing, Detective, Batman. I've read all that stuff. Red Robin, Urban Legends. I've done videos on every issue of that series. I've done a lot of DC comic book reviews at this point. I caught up on all I Am Batman, so I've done that one, and now all that's really left for me to do is Harley Quinn and then Catwoman. I decided to do Harley Quinn first because it was a shorter series to get into, and I just want to get something else out for today. So here's my quick little video on this. Now, this series is written by Stephanie Phillips. She wrote every single issue of this brand new Harley Quinn 2021 series. I believe there was a Rebirth series. I think so. I can't quite remember at this point, but there's this series here. So this is Harley Quinn, I guess, post Suicide Squad or something along the lines of that. So we'll go ahead and talk about this particular issue. Now, there's some of Harley's supporting characters that aren't in this issue that have been in that main Harley Quinn book. Now, I haven't really talked about it at this point, so I'm really kind of talking about it now. But you have that. This is basically just a Harley and Catwoman comic book team-up issue. The typical artist that you see in who's the main artist on this book is not doing the art for this issue, probably because they needed a bit of a break. So the style is a bit different than what this series normally is. So, but this is written by Stephanie Phillips, who is a pretty decent voice for Harley Quinn. It definitely feels like Harley Quinn, like the little mannerisms and such, and the art style definitely complements that. Is it the strongest Harley's ever been written? I wouldn't say so. You're just not going to top Paul Dini. Like, it's kind of tough for anyone to fall in the footsteps of a Paul Dini or Bruce Timm who've worked on that, because they really got the voice of Harley Quinn. Paul Dini in particular, because, well, he created the character. Like, the image and voice of Harley Quinn to me is always just going to be the original Batman the Animated Series, because that's where she's always been. But this is a good job of kind of replicating that a bit. So it's a lot. You got Harley's, narration style that you got there. It's basically Harley's off trying to be a good guy now and teaming up with Batman. She's trying to redeem herself. She's got her own supporting cast, which aren't particularly in this issue, but you have one of her newer villains, some guy named Keepsake, who's there, and the main focus of the Harley Quinn book is her trying to redeem herself. She's got a new supporting cast, like she's friends with Solomon Grundy. She's working with this guy named Kevin, who is a thug who's trying to redeem himself too. And there's kind of this little team. She has her own little group therapy session. Kevin is kind of more of a comedic relief character. He's not in this issue, but I'm just trying to get a little background for those who haven't read it. So yeah, basically it's Harley teaming up with Catwoman. The art style is quite good here. The artist's name is Laura Braga. It's different from the main artist on this book. I actually think this style is better. We'll talk about the other artist style when we get to covering the other two issues. But basically, it's Catwoman and Harley teaming up. Catwoman's a bit reluctant. Harley says she'll leave Gotham if she helps her. And they ultimately agree to team up to, like, raid a drug place. Hugo Strange is here at Safe headquarters. And I believe this place is going to be the new head of Arkham Tower, because you have Hugo Strange with his massive beard here. I have something to say about the style in the other issue, but basically, with this style and that beard there, he looks like can't believe I'm going to say this. He looks like the fucking Crimson Chin from Fairly Odd Parents, particularly, and the other artists on this book style. But basically, it's him talking to Scarecrow, is like, you're stealing my fear toxins, and Hugo's like, I have no reason for it, but you have this villain Keepsake who tends to steal things from other villains. That's kind of his shtick. And Scarecrow just doesn't view him as a threat. He's kind of a joke of a villain. He's kind of like a Condiment King, but just a little bit more intimidating. We find out in the Harley Quinn annual issue, which was released a week after this particular issue. I'm not going to do a video on that, but basically he was a henchman of Joker who got fired after Joker basically brought in Harley Quinn to be kind of his main sidekick, I guess, at that point, and he's had a bit of a grudge against her and jealousy, so he's stealing stuff. Catwoman and Harley stop like this drug raid or whatever, and they talk about some of their stuff. Harley, at least at one point, kind of got like really sick from getting gassed with something, but she's ultimately okay. Catwoman talks about how she tried doing the whole good thing for a while, and it just didn't really work for her, and then she kind of goes off on her own thing. And then Harley's talking about she's so cool, but I prefer my women to be in green. So she's referring to Poison Ivy. So she's looking at a plant, and then the issue kind of ends with Fear Stayed heats up next month. So overall consensus, I did like issue 6, mostly for the Harley and Catwoman dynamic. We got 2/3 of the Gotham City sirens in there. Obviously, if Poison Ivy was there, we would have the sirens. And I just like reading when the villains kind of team up. That's always, well, I guess she's not really a villain at this point. She's kind of trying to be better. It's kind of like Catwoman right now. They're both not really in that villain territory, but not quite in the fully good territory. They're kind of a bit of a tweener, but trying to ultimately do good. There is a good side to them in this particular series, and it's more working on Harley's redemption arc. But it is a fun issue, mainly for the dynamic of Harley and Selina. So if you're into that dynamic, if you like the Gotham City Sirens with minus Poison Ivy, I think this issue is worth checking out. The stuff with Keepsake, it's more played for comedic effect. And in a way, like reading the Harley Quinn book in terms of tying into Fear State, it's kind of a bit of a stark contrast to what's going on in the main Batman book. It's definitely more comedic in terms of tone. It feels kind of out of place in a way. And that's kind of the tricky part of having so many Batman-related titles at once. Tonally, some of them just aren't going to all sync up, but I'm glad it feels a little bit different. It felt good to kind of read a series that has been going on for a few months and just kind of binge reading something instead of just at once and just kind of rushing through. But it was kind of fun to do, and I'm looking forward to doing that with Catwoman. But anyways, what did you think of Harley Quinn number 6? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Tell me your thoughts in the comment section down below. Be sure to stay tuned, because as soon as I'm going to upload this video, you'll probably see a video for issue 7, and then you'll see something for issue 8 as well. All right, well, that's all I got to say. As always, take care now. Bye-bye then, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.